lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. Today I'm going to go over a list of books that I never plan on reviewing, or if I haven't read them, to read them either. It's either because it makes me uncomfortable, or I believe that everything that can be said about it has been said, or because it's problematic and I don't want to promote it. Going over what I am reading and drinking right quick. I am drinking, wherever my water is, some ice water right now, and I am also reading The Conference of Birds. I'm enjoying that one, but I haven't really gotten that far into it yet. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more immersed sometime soon. The first book / series that I won't be reading or reviewing is the Percy Jackson series. Now I know that that's probably going to upset a lot of people. This book is very well loved. This author is very well loved, and I support him. This author is one of the least problematic that I've heard of, honestly. Go Rick Riordan, do your thing. I am not saying not to read his stuff. Please do. But I have tried reading Percy Jackson on 5 different occasions, I think, and I never liked it. Not once. I tried it in all different mediums, and I didn't like it. The main character is just so annoying to me. I'm so sorry, but I cannot stand Percy Jackson, and being that that's who the series is about, I can't do it. But I gave it a valiant effort. I'm not saying anything bad about people who like it. I promise. It's really not for me, and that's why I'll never be reading or reviewing it unless something major changes. The next book is in a similar boat. It is The Diviners by Libba Bray. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about the author, who I actually don't know a lot about now that I think about it, or the fans of this series. I believe it's a series. I know it's a trilogy at least. It just won't stick in my brain. The last couple of times I've tried to read it, it's put me in a massive reading slump. And I may one day in the far, far future give it another try. But right now, I can't afford to end up in another reading slump. I just can't do it. I've made so many plans for the future. I want them to actually come to fruition rather than ending up in a several month long reading slump again. Number 3 is The Reader. It just makes me very uncomfortable. The concept of an adult being in a relationship with a student, it makes me very uncomfortable. I've been through a lot of traumatic events in my life, some of them kind of in this vein, and it really bothers me how it's kind of romanticized. And the next book actually kind of falls in that category as well. Number 4 is Call Me By Your Name, and it very much falls into the same category. This one is much more popular as well, I guess because of the fact that it's a gay romance. But it disturbs me a lot. And yeah, I will never be reading or reviewing that one. I don't think I'll even watch the movie. From what I have seen and heard, it glorifies this romance and makes it seem like it's okay, and it's really not. It's not okay. A lot of these are because the writer is problematic and I don't want to contribute to them, which means I bet you know who the next person is. Number 5 is anything by J.K. Rowling. I will mention Harry Potter every now and then because it was a big part of my childhood. I'm not gonna lie, but I will not promote it. And literally anything else that has come out since then, I know I will not review. I won't have anything to do with it. Like the casual vacancy books or anything like that, no, it's not going to happen, especially since I know that at least one of those books has transphobic content. Fuck J.K. Rowling, will not have anything to do with her. Moving on. Number 6 is Anne Rice's stuff. I don't have as much vitriol for Anne Rice. This is for a very personal reason, because of the fact that she sued her fans over writing fan fiction. Okay, so there's a theme for a lot of these, honestly. Number 7 is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Orson Scott Card is super homophobic and transphobic. Don't want to support them. I'm not even going to go into that much. It's just not going to happen because of the fact that the author is problematic. That's going to be the answer to a lot of these. Number 8 is anything by H.P. Lovecraft. His stuff is old, and I've never really gotten into it. I think that it sounds really interesting, and it has inspired a lot. But the fact is, I haven't read it at this point in my life. And then I found out that he was just so racist. I won't even go into how racist he was, but so racist. And I mean, like, it would be one thing if I was already into his books because he's dead, like dead. But I don't know, like, since I've gone this long without reading them and reviewing them, I feel like it's just not worth it, you know? Number 9 is Love in the Time of Cholera. There is nothing wrong with this one necessarily to the general public, but the fact is, it came off stalkery to me, and I have trauma related to being stalked. So I'm not going back to that one. I am sure that it is a lovely book. I know it's one of my sister's favorite books, but for me, it is not one that I can get through. It was very upsetting to me, and I know that that's extremely abnormal and not something that people are going to be able to relate to very well, probably. But yeah, it bothered me a lot, and it's not one that I'm going to be trying to read all the way through or reviewing. Number 10 is Blaze. This one was written by Stephen King, and it's from the perspective of a school shooter. Pretty sure I'm mentioning the right book. I'll correct it if I'm not talking about the right one. But yeah, it's from the perspective of a school shooter, and yeah, I don't think it's aged very well. Stephen King's he's slightly problematic, I'm not gonna lie. But his work is everywhere. Like, you cannot escape from his work because of how much of it there is. Like, there's some of it that you don't even know that he made it until after you're done consuming it. So you couldn't escape him if you wanted to, I don't think. But Blaze in particular, I don't want to read it. I don't want to review it. I don't think that it is a healthy book to have, honestly, available to the public. I don't want to censor it. I don't want it burned or anything like that. But if it had never come into existence, I think that would have been better for everyone. Number 11 is The Lovely Bones. Again, this is very personal because I have trauma related to the topics discussed in this book. Obviously, I've never been murdered, but the other elements of this book, and yeah, it deeply unsettled me. It's not something that I would want to review either because I feel like it could be potentially triggering to other people. There are some books that it focuses so much on one topic, one troubling, problematic topic, that I don't know if it's wise to do a review on it unless it was done very carefully, and I don't know if I am capable enough to do that. Number 12 is Atlas Shrugged, though honestly anything by Ayn Rand. Atlas Shrugged because it's huge. Have you seen that book? It's thick. I read most of it at one point before I really knew anything about it or knew anything about Ayn Rand, so I was just trying to kind of see where it went. But one, dull as shit, did not like it. Two, Ayn Rand is just not a great person, so you know I'm good. The next book, number 13, is Running with Scissors by Augustus Burroughs, I believe his name is, or anything by them. I did read Running with Scissors actually, but I'm not going to review it. I have since then found out that the author basically fabricated a lot of the material mentioned, and if it is supposed to be nonfiction and I cannot trust the author, then I'm not really interested in reading any more of their material or promoting it in any way, shape, or form. Number 14 is Catch-22. There's nothing really special about it. It's just dry as dirt, and I really didn't. I tried to read it, I just really didn't like it. Number 15 is going to get me some hate, but it's The Help. I'm not sure if you all are aware of this, but The Help is written by a white woman and basically turns into a mighty whitey story. I'm not into that, not interested, could not give valuable input because I am not an individual who has that kind of perspective to be able to actually put my 2 cents into this conversation. But I do know that the fact that a white woman wrote The Help, which is a mighty whitey story, does bother me. You take from it what you will. I am sure that it is very meaningful and powerful to a lot of people, but it pisses me off, to be perfectly honest. Number 16 isn't really a particular book. It kind of ties back into the vein of the last one, number 15. And it's just books that don't pertain to me and that I don't have any right to comment on. Books that I cannot possibly have a perspective on. I should not be the person who is commenting on anything like that. I will lend my voice where it is needed, but I don't want to be the person who ends up talking over other people whose voices actually need to be heard, who have first-hand experience with these topics at hand. So while, for example, I am pro Black Lives Matter, you will not hear me dissecting any books that regard Black voices or anything like that, because it's not my place to comment on that. Number 17 is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's probably another one that's going to get me hate. I just didn't like it. I felt it was a little full of itself, like what I read of it. I couldn't get through the whole thing. And yeah, I have no interest in going back to it or reviewing it. Like, if you like it, that's good. I'm glad that you enjoy it. From what I understand, that author has done another one recently called Imaginary Friend, I believe, which is supposed to be good, but I don't know if I'm even going to give that one a chance because of the fact that I disliked The Perks of Being a Wallflower so much. Number 18 is The Red Queen. There is nothing wrong with this book, really. It's okay if you like it. I'm not hating on the fans, but it was not something that I personally got into. I started to try and read it, and it just felt very derivative to me. Like, it felt like it pulled from so many different series and wasn't really doing anything new with it. I saw some Divergent, I saw some Throne of Glass, I saw some Harry Potter, I saw some of the Selection, I saw a lot of different book series tucked in there, and you know, that's fine. If you are inspired by other book series, that's great. You do you. But that being said, you have to do something different with it. And that's kind of an issue that the Divergent had as well, but then eventually it ended up going its own way with it. This series, from the impression that I've gotten, doesn't really, and I don't care enough to really delve back into it. Number 19 is another one that isn't an actual book, and it's also the last one. I kind of got into this before, but anything that has extremely graphic content of a potentially triggering nature, I will likely not review. Based on how I feel about it, I may not even read it. But that's, you know, that's on me. But I'm not going to force that onto someone else. My own preferences and what I can take are one thing, but I don't want to assume that anyone else is able to withstand the same material. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it more than you know. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and most importantly, love yourself. All right, bye.